Hello?
Hello.
Oh, okay. How are you today?
I'm good. Can you see me?
I can see you. I think we might have a
Or hear
delay.
me? Okay, it's loading for me.
Okay.
It's fine.
It's all right. How was your week?
It's been good. It's been, I have a new student starting in a couple weeks, which I'm really excited about. I was just, getting stuff ready, and it's been trying to make myself busier.
Oh, like while you've got time, use it well.
Right, exactly.
How many students are you at right now?
How's your week? Oh, I guess with this new person, it will be 5.
Okay. Right. Yeah, my week has been good. Well, let's see. I did have a question from Claire, which I might ask. Let's start. If you've got any questions, do you want to start us off? I mean, it's you today so far.
Yeah. So I just did my registration for my LLC, and I did do it as Music at 906 LLC.
Okay.
I went through Zen Business or something, and so they're doing all that for me.
Mm-hmm.
So and I'm guessing, even though it's an LLC, I'm still a sole proprietor, correct?
You
right,
are
under
it's an
different
LLC,
with a business name.
But you're taxed as a sole proprietor. There's no difference in the way you're taxed if you're an LLC or a sole proprietor. So, yeah, in that sense.
Right. So when I go to do my, okay, good. So when I go to do my taxes, half of my year has been is just using my own name as a sole proprietor, and the next half of the year will be like my business name. Do I just put all those expenses in one pot for my business?
They can.
Or do I have to do a separate process for both of them?
Yeah. Let me actually pull out a tax form. If you wanted to show a clear delineation between when you were just a sole proprietor versus an LLC, you could fill out 2 Schedule Cs. Let's see. Trying to find a Schedule C. Okay. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter. Actually, sorry. It's really shouldn't be this big of a problem.
Taxes.
My binder fell on my earbud cord. Okay, and ripped open. Okay.
Oh.
I should just pull out all of the forms while I'm at this. That would be easier. Okay. We'll sort out this part later. An earthquake as my microphone falling. All right, so all your business income shows up on this Schedule C. And yeah, you could fill out 2 of these. Like I fill out like 4 of these every year because I have one for music studio startup, one for my private teaching studio. I have a rental property, a second rental property. Like I have so many of these.
Right.
So you could, like, it just at the end of the day doesn't matter. If you want to keep it simple, and it's kind of like, what are you trying to say about your business? And you could just be saying it's the same business it was before I registered as an LLC.
Just under a different name and.
Yeah. So the tax.
So when okay. So I TurboTax every year, and I use the self-employment one because, like, I'm self-employed, and that just makes sense. So will TurboTax, like, walk me through, like, are you, like, my business, or will it just look to me as the individual?
Home and business?
Do you know? I don't know.
Yeah. You use home and business, you said?
Yeah.
Yeah. And you used that last
I
year?
use self-employed. That's not the same thing then, is it?
Oh, okay. I think they changed the name. I think it's that. It's like the middle level one, right?
Okay.
Yeah. You used that last year?
Mm-hmm.
Then I think you'll just copy, TurboTax will guide you through that. You can put in, you might just like change the name of the business. Like you might have had private piano studio. That's how mine showed up in TurboTax, and you can just change the name to Music at 906, and then you'll put in the your TIN or your EIN number in there.
EIN.
And that's really it. You might, if you have a state tax ID number, you'll probably put that in too when you do your state taxes through TurboTax.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
And, yeah.
I have a question about different types of taxes.
Go for it.
Because at the beginning of the year, I had a regular job, and now I'm on unemployment. So I guess I have a separate type of taxes for that. And then, I mean, assuming I have a new business, hopefully I'll have self-employment taxes too. So a Schedule C, does that apply to unemployment, or is it only for?
So actually, I'm not sure off the top of my head where unemployment would go. I've never taken unemployment, so I'm sure there's a line for it. I just haven't paid attention to it before. And you and 95% of people will be in that category this year. Yeah, I would have to Google that to find out that answer. But you'll fill out.
I would have to Google that to find out that answer. But you'll fill out.
I'm gonna mute both of you, Scarlett. I'm not sure which order.
Oh,
that's okay. So the 1040 is the overall form. It captures everything. It's like a summary sheet almost of all your taxes. So on there, your wages from your W-2 job that you had at the beginning of the year, that will go in there. And then line 1 is wages, salaries, tips. My guess is that unemployment also goes under that category. I'm not sure, but that is my guess, is that that's where it would show up. Yeah, I just don't know about that. And then the Schedule C, where your business income and loss is reported, is kind of like a worksheet where, not technically, it's a different schedule. It's that's where you take account for all your business stuff. And then the numbers from the Schedule C are brought back to the Form 1040.
Okay. But that's only if I make, what is it, above, was it 9,000 or?
Well, it's just if you file, and the reason it's that, 12,000 is just because if you take the standard deduction, if you make $12,400 and you take the standard deduction, then it's you made zero. So yeah. Now you could make more than that and still not owe any taxes, because this year it's likely you'll have more business expenses than you have business income. Well, I don't, that's not actually true necessarily, but let's say you started your business on December 26th and, only had expenses in the year and no income, then, you could, well, then you're not making more than 12,000. There are a lot of, extreme cases where it can, you might be earning more and still not owing taxes, but you would be, at least need to go through the process of running the numbers and perhaps filing.
Okay. But suppose I don't have any students this year. Do I pretend my business hasn't started, or do I write down all my expenses?
So actually, this is a really good question, because you will have expenses, and you can, I think it's if your business has a loss for I think it's 3 years in a row, then the IRS says it's not a business, it's a hobby. And because some people, try to say their model train hobby is a business because they give a presentation once a year or something, or So you could still write, you have to capture the losses in the year that you accrued them. So they would have to be captured on this year's tax return. There is a way to carry over losses to a future year. And I didn't get into this in the video because, you know, only so much time, and that's one of those edge cases. That I would say talk to an accountant or tax preparer about that. Like if you have $500 of expenses this year and you do want them to count towards your taxes next year when you have income. But so I don't think I really gave you an answer except talk to a tax preparer.
Yeah.
If
well,
you are going to,
my dad is a tax preparer, but out in California, I don't know how different it is.
Okay. Well, most of what we're talking about here anyway is federal. So he's going to know that. And the state is usually pretty straightforward. Like you do the federal and then the state says, take this from line 20 of the federal, you know, 1040, and that's how the state taxes are completed. So yeah, I think he'll be able to get you whatever information you need about like carrying over and what you'd be eligible for there. Yeah. Yeah. Cause that just gets into some like carrying numbers over from one year to the next and much more tracking and all sorts of stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah. Any other tax questions? How have you guys filed? So Scarlett, you said you did TurboTax in the past. Leah, what have you done?
TurboTax, the free version.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have any questions.
Yeah, and I use the Intuit, the QuickBooks, so that automatically like goes from QuickBooks to TurboTax. They're all owned by the same company, and so
yeah, that delightful like one-click thing, and you.
I love simplicity. I'll pay extra to make it simple.
Yeah, I mean that saves hours really at tax time. So if it's, you know, TurboTax is not cheap, especially when you've got the complexities of being self-employed. That's a more expensive version of TurboTax. But yeah, so easy, and I like the way it calculates your quarterly estimated payments for the next year and gives you the little coupons if you mail that stuff in. And yeah.
Yep.
Big fan.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I like how it keeps track for me, which is nice.
And year over year showing you those comparisons. That was the thing I was sad to give up when we decided to use a tax preparer. It's like, oh, I'm not going to have that. Like just little reminder every year of checking in. I just have to do it manually. All right. Anything else? Well, this is fun. Anything else about anything?
Do you, since you're married, do you file jointly?
Yeah.
Or do you file separately? Like, does that make it, I've always filed jointly, because I never realized like the income bracket with both of us would affect my business earnings. Is that
I
right?
think the only reason to file separately is if you're legally separated.
Oh yeah. Okay. No.
So yeah.
Okay.
But otherwise they're, yeah. I asked myself the same thing when I got married, you know, being like independent person, but no, it didn't make sense.
Right. No, you get married, you get way more back if you're married.
If you get married after tax, oh, well, I guess that answers my question. So you would file for the year before not married, and then do you keep track of like the first few months not?
Yeah, okay. How does it?
So I got married literally 2 days before 2016 ended. And we still filed jointly because you get more tax benefits that way. Even though you were single, like all of the year, regardless, like I think it's in your best interest just to file jointly.
That's a bummer. We were supposed to be married already.
Quick, go to the courthouse.
Yeah, run.
Yeah,
I thought it was annoying at first. I'm like, oh, like I have to deal with this. But I hadn't changed my name yet, like legally, and so I had like my maiden name and his name, but it was fine.
Yeah,
it wasn't so bad. Yeah, I hate name changing. Don't do it. Unless you really want to. But no one told me how much work it would be.
Yeah. Okay. One thing I didn't get into in the video was like talking about in detail things that can be expensed, and I thought I could share more on that. Like, so this course, like this is a business expense because it's, you know, expense attributed to your business, or any coaching. If you take lessons from a music teacher yourself, that could be considered a business expense, you know, professional development. And this is where like there's just so much value to being a business owner, because all those things you're like, oh, I might already be taking piano lessons, and now I just get it essentially for like 15% off because I'm not paying taxes on that income that I'm spending on piano lessons or you know, computers. There are like percentages for those things. Like if you know, use your computer exclusively for business, then you can write off all of it. But if you, like, if we're being honest, we're probably not. But 50% of a computer. Yeah, same with the cell phone bills and internet, and the home office deduction. That's another one that I haven't talked about. That's based on the square footage of your house. So if you have, let's say, 1,000 square feet, and 200 square feet of your house is your living room, and it's exclusively used for business purposes. They're pretty clear about the exclusive use for business purposes. Whatever is exclusively used can be written off a percentage. So that includes a percentage of your mortgage payments, and also a percentage of your utilities. So if whatever your utilities are $1,500 through the year, and 10% of that, I'm getting my examples mixed up. 10% of your square footage of your house is exclusively used for business, and you can also write off 10% of the utilities. And I guess
what about rent, like mortgage, but does rent count too?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Any of those housing expenses. And so I think, like, even if you don't have a whole room that's dedicated to your business, but you have a corner and it might be 9 square feet. Yeah, like
right behind me.
9 square feet of your whatever it is that you can justify as being exclusively used for business. And when I, in Maryland, that was the time I most felt like I had a real dedicated studio space. It was down in a basement, but it was like a walkout basement. So it was nice and bright and everything. And when I started thinking it was like exclusively used for business, it kind of changed my attitude towards the space too. And just like I only went down there if I was going to work. And so it helped my work-life balance and separation too, just thinking of that as like my workspace. So, and I think it just strengthened it's all about like, if you were to be audited, like, yes, you can claim your whole house, not ethically probably, but you could. And but it's, yeah, you want to be able to demonstrate if you were to be audited that you're being honest. And yeah, so you could get a little divider if you want and put it up and say, no, really, this is my space.
If you bought that divider, does that count as an expense?
It does, yes.
And the rug that I just bought too?
And a rug? I think so, if it's, yeah, for your...
For my studio. Can I show you?
Yeah.
It's right over my shoulder. The rug
Oh,
just
totally,
arrived.
yes.
Like, because you can, it's so cute.
Thank you. I love my little corner. But
Yeah,
only
It's so
nice
like,
cute
I love
part.
how just dedicated it is. It's very
Yeah,
clear.
exactly.
That's a very productive space.
Thank you.
Yeah, definitely write that off. And
Cool.
when I also didn't talk about receipt tracking very in depth in this video. So every year when I have done taxes, I've just gotten a little more organized. And over time, it gradually got to a system that was like, just made it easier when it actually came time to file. So the first year, I really didn't know what I was doing. And I just put every receipt in an envelope because I knew that was important. And then at tax time, I had this giant envelope of receipts. And it was overwhelming at tax time because I had, I don't know, hundreds probably of receipts for things that I, you know, every package of stickers from the dollar store that I spent $1.07 on, or $1.05, whatever it is. So the next year I had a little bit of the same model, but at the end of every month or week, I would process the receipts. So I just had a spreadsheet and I would put in the date, the purpose of the transaction, like what I was buying, and then the amount and a category. And the categories, I just used, if you look at the Schedule C, it has a whole list under cost of goods sold. You guys probably don't have a Schedule C in a page protector on your desk like I do, but it has, oh no, that's not the category that I'm looking at. Under expenses, it's got these categories: advertising, car and truck expenses, commissions and fees, contract labor, depreciation, employee benefit. Like, it has some categories to use, and that's where you're going to have to ultimately fit the expenses into anyway. So I just, when I was processing the receipts at the end of the week or the month, I would just put them in whatever, like tag them in my Excel spreadsheet for what expense category they would ultimately go to on taxes. And at tax time, I could just take that spreadsheet and sort all the, or like filter the expenses by category and add them up and, you know, put the numbers in there. And then I had a nice list. I didn't actually have to look at the receipts when tax time came. And I just put that envelope of receipts in my file and kept it for 7 years. Now we, every year it gets a little more organized. And now my husband and I have completely digital systems. So any receipt gets scanned and then, you know, recycled. And we still do the tagging. And like I said, we also have a lot more Schedule Cs for all the different, like, things that are technically different businesses. It's not like we're, you know, running all these 15 different businesses. Like, yeah, they're not, yeah, it's rental houses and things like that. But so we have to have all those things separated, and it's a massive spreadsheet, but it's really handy. And the IRS accepts digital receipts as evidence, so you don't need the physical one. The other thing I did with digital receipts, like Amazon orders, I would just tag those in Gmail with a label, taxes 2020. And then when it came time to do taxes, I could, and not just the Amazon receipts, but any, like, you know, you get the email from your bank saying, here's your tax form, or all those different tax time emails. So then they're all tagged, and I could archive them and not worry about them, but then at tax time easily pull them up. So some accounting systems, I believe QuickBooks lets you do this, Scarlett, let you actually email your receipt too. Yeah, love that.
I haven't used that. I'm also like old Andrea, where I just kind of put them all in an envelope and hope for the best.
Yeah.
Or in a folder. So,
and
but yeah, you can do that. And you can also take pictures of your receipts, and it'll upload to QuickBooks too.
Yes. Yeah. And I'm all about using the system that you'll actually maintain. So, you know, don't make it overcomplicated if you're not going to maintain it because it's too much work. So yeah, just do as much as you need to, or as little as you need to.
Yeah. QuickBooks, I think I'll just always like advocate, because it's just simpler. You will pay more, but I think you get a discount on doing your taxes because paying QuickBooks under use TurboTax. Also, like, if you hook up your bank account or your business bank account to QuickBooks, it automatically can tell like when you've been spending on something, tell you the amount and where, and then you can categorize it as you go along. Oh, hello.
Yeah.
Nosy kitty. Can you move, please?
Hello, kitty.
That's a really good point, Scarlett. And I think sometimes we are, you know, in trying to avoid $10 a month or something in a subscription fee, we end up spending, 2 hours that might be worth $100 of time. And it just doesn't make sense. Some of the ways we try to cut costs. So yeah, that is like a business person mindset shift that is kind of hard to do all the time to really think about, like, where should I spend money and where should I spend time? Because when we're employed, the amount of money you have is finite. It's what your employer is paying you, and you're kind of stuck at that. But as an entrepreneur, you're always asking yourself, like, is it easier for me to make more money or make more time? And it might be easier to make more money to cover the $10 of QuickBooks or whatever QuickBooks is versus versus finding 2 more hours a month to do that bookkeeping. Yeah. Do you use how much is QuickBooks? Do you mind me asking? The version that you use?
I think it's like
20.
If you have a I'm sure there's like always promotion, so at first it was like 15, but I think it's $20 or $25 a month.
Okay. Yeah, so worth it.
I can double check. I think it's worth it. I mean, when I was in grad school, I still used it because I still kind of made some extra money and I didn't want to have to deal with it. So I would just break even every month, but it's also like a tax deduction, so it's not like it was necessarily hurting me either.
Yeah.
But I can double check. But now that I'm coming back into it, I don't have to restart all over again. So it's nice.
Yeah, when I first started, you bought software that you downloaded, and it was like the 2009 version of QuickBooks, and it was $400 or something. And then the next year they came out with the 2010, and I was like, what? I can't buy that. But now it's all cloud, and it's so much better.
So it's 25. Yeah, it's 25 a month.
Okay. Yeah. And QuickBooks is definitely like, they just know, and their support, like.
And they also track mileage. So it's like literally everything in one app.
Everything in one app. Yeah.
Everything in one app. So I will mileage, because it also has speakers. So
does QuickBooks also do
it's just a huge
invoicing?
It can do invoicing.
I don't think so. I think you can actually send voice. There's a separate tab in my app here. That's for invoice.
I actually, when I first started my multi-teacher school, I did everything through QuickBooks. I didn't have studio management software. I didn't even know it was a thing. And so this was like 2009 when I was starting, and it was kind of a thing, but there were like 2 options. No, there was 1 option for music schools and a few options for dance studios. And within like 3 years, there were many more options, but yeah, so I did invoicing through QuickBooks. I did absolutely everything. And then I find the QuickBooks reporting is just much more extensive than any of the music teacher specific software. So if you're, I find that valuable. Not everyone uses those reports, but if you're training yourself to, I think you really get a lot of information out of it. Yeah.
I feel like I'm personally really overwhelmed by PayPal, music's staff, and QuickBooks and all these things, and I'm like, I don't even know when I'm gonna actually be using them. So I don't know.
Yeah. Well, let's see. So, excuse me. You're just wondering, when do I start investing in those?
Yeah. There's Fonz, and there's Mindbody, and there's Squarespace has it. It's just a lot.
So I found that when I had my multi-teacher school, this is when it was most relevant. I had a calendar system in QuickBooks. And then at some point it was just too much to handle to have, the calendar wasn't robust enough to manage multiple teachers. And then there were rooms too, like I couldn't book 2 lessons at 3:30 in the same room. And so that's when I knew I needed studio management software above and beyond just a calendar. And so that happened pretty quickly, and that was a multi-teacher school. I think with an independent teacher, that line is a little less clear because you just like, you can manage with, you can make it work, you know, just a QuickBooks and invoicing. What I use now is just, I use Wave Accounting. I think I've talked about this before. This is not one I would recommend paying for. The free version does what I need, and so I use it. But I don't really do makeups, and so it doesn't have any of the scheduling. You know, it's accounting software, so it doesn't have any of the scheduling features. I'm not onboarding students directly through there. It doesn't have any of the features that the music teacher specific ones have, and you might want for streamlining your business if you've got 35 students, and especially if you're doing some different kind of payment structure, if you're doing anything by week or whatever, like those ones handle that much better than Wave, just accounting software would. Yeah, you might just keep track of how many hours a month you're spending and managing all that. And when you hit a certain threshold, like you could say, I'll spend up to 2 hours a month. And once I'm spending more than that, then it's worth investing in this other software. Or some people just like to get it set up. Like Scarlett was saying, she has time now and she's wanting to use her time well. And so some like to just get it set up in advance because they've got the time to figure it out and learn the software.
That's a good point.
So there's not a right or wrong answer there. Yeah. So
I mean, like when I first started out a couple of years ago. Oh, sorry. I think I'm on delay. I literally like put all my students in an Excel sheet and by month, and then I would just say like they paid or they didn't pay, and just like wrote how much they did pay, and that way you would go by month. But if you get to like a certain, that was fine with like the 10 students had, but I think when you get to a certain point, that's when you're just like, I don't have time to like say who did this and who did what, especially if they're paying by different ways, like cash, check, Venmo, like online through like AH or PayPal. There's so many. I'd say like if you want to streamline like your income, like you pick the avenues you want to be paid as, and I think that'd be easier to manage. So while I have Fonz, I don't want to set up the online billing through Fonz, or I'm using that free subscription that I have. I prefer getting like through check and Venmo because I know I can take care of that without having to worry about like the extra surcharge it is to like process online through Fonz or something like that.
Any credit card. Yeah. So actually this, no, let me look. Someone had emailed me a question. Oh, it was Mary about payment, payment fees or credit card fees. Let me see if I can. I had already answered a question, but. Oh yeah, Mary had asked, what's the cheapest way to accept fees online or tuition payments? And so yeah, ACH, which is just like an automatic withdrawal from the customer's account, is the cheapest option. Usually that's 1.8%, I think is like the standard fee for that. But I was just looking at Stripe this week and it's 0.8%, which is like nothing.
Oh, wow.
And there's a 5% cap, or $5 per transaction cap. So Mary actually bills just at the semester. And so her tuition payments are pretty substantial. So I think she might actually hit that. Well, it's just nice. There's a cap on that payment. So that was cool. Sometimes customers don't like that because they feel like, oh, I'm giving you access to withdraw money from my account. And so there's like that you have to negotiate, where they feel a little bit more in control when it's a credit card payment. And yeah, here I like think a lot about incentives and how, and she was asking like, is there a way to pass on the 2.9% fees for PayPal or Stripe or, any payment processing system. And I think that's pretty easy to roll into tuition. Like if you've ever ordered something online and it's like $10 and then there's a 30-cent transaction fee, you're like, ugh, that's annoying. That's always how I feel. I'm like annoyed, and then I want to try to figure out a way around it, and that's dumb because I'm wasting my time. Like it's not worth that, but I'm doing it anyway, and I just feel like, I don't know, it really frustrates me. Am I the only one who feels this way about convenience fees?
No.
Yeah, okay, yeah. So I find it annoying.
No, you're right.
I would much rather spend $11 on the thing than try to manage this convenience fee. So yeah, that's one way. Or if you really wanted to do the ACH option and you were willing to pay for that, one thing you can do is just set your rates to cover the ACH and then charge the convenience fee or whatever for credit card transactions as a way of disincentivizing credit card payments. So like you still offer it, but you don't really want people to pay that way. You'd rather them pay with the ACH method, or or you can offer the discount, roll in the fees for credit card and offer a discount, but then you get into the whole discount discussion if you want to do discounts or not. So yeah, I just think of like, rather than doing the annoying thing, like how can you roll in or incentivize the behavior you want with your pricing? So that was a question Mary had. And then Claire had a question about marketing, and where are these disappearing? And you guys could chime in on this one too. Okay. So Claire has just a few spots open, and she's teaching part-time while working full-time, so she doesn't want to really get a ton of students right now. And she'd like to fill those, but doesn't want to do a big marketing blast and have to turn away lots of inquiries. So she asked if she should wait for more inquiries, just wait and let those spots stay open, or find ways that yield smaller returns on inquiries, like word of mouth from current students. And so my advice here would be to like share one of those social media posts or email current students the exact time slots that are open. I think that like this is the perfect opportunity to fill just a few spots, especially if like you've had any student who has a sibling that maybe is getting near the age of piano lessons and they've expressed interest in starting. That might be the nudge they need to just get started this fall. So that would be my main suggestion is, yeah, try to fill those, but be really specific with the offer. Does anyone else have anything you've done that might work in Claire's situation?
No experience with that. But it does make me think of that, the image, the template that you gave us a few weeks ago where you cross out the times that are available. City marketing thing, but it's like, actually, it's like kind of the opposite, right? Because you're trying to like trick people into thinking this is all you have, but in her case, like that really is all she
It really is all she, yeah.
So, I don't know.
Now you could say like, if you've got 4, 4:30, and 5 o'clock slots and you have someone at 4, you could share the image with the 4 already crossed out. That might add some urgency to it too, yeah. How about you, Scarlett? Anything that... How did you get
for
your most recent student?
For like a small? I have no idea. I just sent her like a welcome form when I usually ask like, how did you hear about me? She called my Google Voice number. So like I say the number popped up on my phone and it was a Greensboro number. So I was like, who's calling me? But I didn't know that. I had never used Google Voice actually in action. So I thought it would be like Google Voice like being used. No, it's like, is this someone's actually calling your phone? So I didn't answer it. But then Google Voice sent me the message saying that someone left me a voicemail. And I was like, oh my gosh, it happened. So I have that number on my website, and I also have it on my Google page, like my Google My Business profile. So I just need to figure out from her like where she found that number. Because I stopped Google Ads because even though I was getting impressions and clicks, there was no action being made, and I got to the $50 mark, and I was like, no, I'm not worth it to pay $50 for at least one inquiry, for me at least, right now. So I stopped that campaign, and then of course, as soon as I stopped the ads, like I get a call. But yeah, so I think having a presence online helps. Like if you do have Google Your Business, that'll set you up at least with everybody else in the area that's typing in like piano teachers or piano lesson or something like that, because that's one place and it's a little bit more casual and you're not, pressing for people to sign up for your studio. I'm the opposite end of that. I would love to have larger enrollment, but I mean, I'll take it as they come, but I think like casual presence, but without any like pushing. But I don't know.
Yeah, I think to get something in like quickly, something more direct, like the talking to our current students or social media or something there. But that's awesome. I'm really curious to hear where that student came from. Like, it was either the website or Google Maps.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's really interesting. I would say like 50, if she came from the Google AdWords, I mean, maybe ask her specifically, did you see an ad for my lessons when you looked? Like just first ask, where did you hear about me? And if she says online or Google, like then probe a little further too, just to see. Actually, in Google AdWords, you can look and see how many clicked on your phone number, can't you?
Yeah, let me look. Let me see. I can pull it up here. Google Ads. Well, my campaign is not in progress, so I don't see anything. But let me see. Clicks, conversation, conversions, interaction. It just says clicks and interactions and interaction rates, but that's not necessarily like calling me.
Okay.
Yeah. So
maybe that's through Google My Business.
But I think let me look up Google My Business.
I sent myself the postcard and I still haven't gotten it. So
it says 0 calls. But it says 2 website visits. So yeah, 2 website visits and 0 calls.
Okay. So she got you somehow. If she was someone who clicked on an ad, and I mean, $50 if you think of the lifetime value of a student.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if it was through ads or if it was through something else, like the Google My Business. So I'm curious to see. Yeah. Because if it was through ads, okay, maybe it was worth it.
Yeah, turn that back on, I would say.
For me, that was pretty, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I would not hesitate to spend.
Yeah, we'll see.
I would not hesitate.
Even I think if you have several $100s, it might make sense to spend on if you're really trying to like quickly build a studio. Because if you think, if you can get a student to find out about you today rather than 30 days from now, that's worth, whatever your monthly tuition is to you. So, I mean, it may seem like a lot to spend $200 on Google Ads to get a student. And And it might be, but it might not be either. So if you know your average student is going to be around for 3 years and they'll ultimately pay you like $4,500, like not a big deal.
Right.
Especially to like bump up that early, just get students in the door faster. And you'll compare your advertising. So you might do that now, and then 6 months from now, you might have enough of like your Google My Business listing might be beefed up a little with reviews and things like that you don't need that, or there are other cheaper ways to advertise. But yeah, even if it's several $100s that you spend, it might be worth it. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's again that like business mindset versus.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Investment.
And it could have been through Facebook too, because I have a Facebook page and she has my number through my page.
Okay.
And she could have done that. So I'm curious.
Okay. Well, we'll have to report back next week on that one.
Yes. Yeah. For sure.
All right. So Leah, what are you up to right now with, where are you in?
I don't know. I'm feeling a little bit down. I know it's going to be like a slow start, but it's like, I'm feeling it. Because I also have a lot of, like, I've been doing ads as well, and I'm getting a lot of clicks and then, no inquiries. So I took the prices off my website for the experiment, and I still don't have inquiries. And I tried to do the Google My Business, but my address is really weird. And sometimes I don't know why I haven't gotten that postcard yet. It's been 2 weeks since we talked about it last. So I haven't been able to do Google AdWords. And it's been,
so you're just kind of waiting for a lot of things.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a bummer.
Yeah.
But,
have you done the email friends and family and just let them know that you're starting?
I don't really have anyone's email addresses. Like when I first did my Facebook page, I did a post and announced that I'm starting a business. But no, not really. I haven't individually reached out to people hey, do you know anyone?
Okay, so you're reading on Google. I feel like it could take 2 weeks to get that postcard. Do you remember, Scarlett, how long it took for you to get it?
For my business?
Yeah.
5 days.
Yeah, that's what it said, 2 to 5 days on the website. And I was
5 days. It was within a week.
Okay.
But yeah, it's the whole USPS slowdown too, maybe.
Oh.
Yeah.
Maybe it got lost. Maybe you have to request it again.
Yeah, that might be. That's to do Google AdWords. You need that verification?
Yeah, or just to be Google My Business. And I think you have to be a verified business to do ads.
Okay.
Huh.
I was thinking there was some level you could do without that, but no. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So what are we going to try this week?
Oh, I don't know. I was going to put up more physical flyers in my neighborhood, around the school, because I think parents are starting to be near the school. Our schools don't start until mid-September though. But hey, that's kind of soon. So yeah.
Where did August go?
Yeah. So that was my plan. And then I was also going to try to do more content, but I don't know if you saw my horrible video. It was so cringy. And so I'm after struggling with that, I'm not excited about making videos of warm-ups or pronunciation or, it's yeah.
Have you done any video before?
No. What do you mean? Anything?
Do you do Instagram stories regularly, or is video a new thing?
Not of my face. I take videos of me painting things and then I speed that up. But then my face isn't in it and I don't have to talk.
Oh, okay.
So baby steps.
Video is such a learned skill. And I remember the first time I tried to do an Instagram story, it took 20 takes. And it wasn't even good, at the end, it was not good. And part of it was managing my own expectations for what was good enough. And part of it was just being comfortable with video. So yeah, I saw your video. I did. I was actually looking up to respond to that, a video that I had seen someone share on Facebook, someone like an acquaintance who was, hey Mary, she is a reading tutor for students with dyslexia. And she had shared this video when she started her reading tutoring business. And I really liked it because it was just her talking. It wasn't super smooth even, but it was just very genuine. And she like expressed concern for the students, and like you could tell she cared about them and had a thoughtful approach to the way she tutored them. And I really liked it because it just wasn't fancy. It just like got the point across. And I actually was looking up that video to share, but it was like 3 years ago. So
that would be great.
Yeah. And just very, yeah, it was not at all perfect by any means, but it was fine. And I thought showed, yeah, I think the thing that came across to me was like, she really cares. And I think she would do a good job. Like she knows what she's talking about. So that might be a good model. And then as far as like actually producing, so there's the content of the video, but actually like putting it together, you might just sit down like every morning or 3 times throughout the day or something, record the video, go on with your day, record it again, go on with your day, and then pick the best. If you do that, 10 times or something, and then pick after the 10th time. And I think just by leaving it and coming back, it'll be just a more comfortable, natural thing.
I can see that.
Yeah.
It was just horrible. Like over and over, like stop. It was
yeah, and then you end up like getting yourself worked up.
That.
Yeah, and I was getting sweaty. It was like now, even now, I'm like shiny. It was just.
When I record the videos for this course, I feel the same way, and it seems like I'll either do it in 1 take, or it'll take 15 takes. There's nothing in the middle. It's either.
Well, that doesn't come across. It seems incredibly natural.
Yeah, I know. It's right.
Well, yeah, and like last week's, the tax one, or this week's, I guess. Yeah, that I like got stuck, and it was like mostly mental. It was just something going on, and I couldn't like break out of that. And then I was trapped, and I should have just set it aside for a day and come back the next day. That probably would have been a better use of time. But then this week's, when I was putting together, it was like 1 segment I had to do 3 takes, and that was it. And yeah, so it's definitely a learn thing. And I have videos that I did from 2 or 3 years ago that were much stiffer, and I even felt pretty good about those at the time. But I was trying to read from a script, and that just didn't, that came across on the video. And yeah, but I think that leaving and coming back is really powerful, and just making it feel like not a big deal. And yeah, just do it however many times, over the course of the next week. And then what day is today? Thursday. Maybe you do this 2 or 3 times throughout the day, all through the weekend. And then on Monday you pick your favorite. And
okay, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
I will try that.
Yeah. And it's just, no one's great at video the first time they do it.
Yeah. I'm just feeling a lot of pressure because my sister is a marketing expert, and she was like, I like all the things you're posting, but like, I need to see you and see that you're going to like gel with my kid. And I'm like, but I'm so awkward.
You are not awkward though.
Well, yeah, I just need to find a way to like, not seem that way.
Yeah. Huh. Totally relate. And I have been really bad about doing Instagram this summer, but I just told myself like every day, shoot for every day, but end up doing like 4 days a week or something, or every weekday and end up doing 3 or 4. When I was doing those Instagram stories, that's when I really felt like it, like neither one held that much weight, because I was just doing it every day. And and yeah.
That's a good point. I'll think about it that way.
Yeah. Way to go for just like pushing through the discomfort of that.
Thank you.
Hey, Mary. Oh, I think you're muted. Oh, there we go.
Hi, everybody. I'm sorry I'm late. I'm having one of those weeks. Have you ever double booked yourself for something and you're like, you just realized about like a day before and you're like, oh, so that's my day today.
No worries. No worries. Are you done with your teaching course?
Yeah, I'm done with that one, and I've got my last group class tomorrow. So that's, yeah, it's been a great summer actually. It's been really good, and I'm doing final revisions for my website, and that's going to go live I think Saturday once I hear back from the designer. And I've got a new logo. That's very exciting. And yay! I can show you if you like. Would you like to see the logo? Okay. Actually, I'm between a couple of colors. So I can show you, here. She did it in a couple of different ways. You can tell me which one you like the best.
Oh.
Can you see that okay?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Yeah. That is so cool.
She's really skilled, I think. It's really skilled. And here's the alternative.
Oh.
This one has a more serious vibe. I mean, it's the same thing, but the colors just...
Yeah.
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 Which one do you like better? Which one do you think? Or which one do you think is more me?
What color t-shirt do you want to wear?
It's really bright and happy.
Yeah. If you had a t-shirt, would you want it to be the green teal or the navy blue?
I'd go for blue. Yeah,
blue. There you go.
There we go.
Wearing navy blue now.
Yeah.
Oh, that's true, actually, yeah. Do you know what? Somebody got me this t-shirt. I have no idea. It's got a logo on it. I have no idea where it's from. I have to find out. I am so sorry I'm so late. Andrea, I don't want to put you on the spot, but I was thinking this week, as I'm like dotting my I's and crossing my T's, I was thinking, do you have a checklist of the major things that we should have done by now?
Oh, like throughout the course? Oh, no, but I could easily put one together.
Yeah,
that's a good idea.
Now, I don't want to give you some more things to do, but I was thinking the things I still need to do are like the Google Voice thing, and I haven't done something else. I don't know what it is at the moment, but it's like that kind of thing.
Okay, yeah, like a list of the assignments for the whole course.
Yeah, or like, you know, the ideal student ones, I think. I think we've all, well, at least I feel like I've got that in my mind, but it's more like the nitty, more like the systems and the LLC thing, and then the ways people should contact you, or fees and stuff like that. The little,
yeah, I should look back at did you print out the worksheets? I know not every week they're really necessary.
Yeah,
okay, because that captures some of it. That's a good idea. Not something I have immediately, but one thing I will be asking you about next week, actually, I was going to ask this today. We'll have our regular office hours. Next week is week 12, and that makes me a little bit sad.
Me too. Not ready.
So I have several questions for you guys around that. First, we'll have our regular office hours, but I was going to invite anyone to stick around for a half hour after the office hours, if you're available, just for me to ask you questions about the course and the content and what would make it more helpful and where we need to spend more time and where less time, and, you know, just all those things, like just what was your feedback for the course? And then I might do some like one-on-one conversations with people if you're interested in that, or just, you know, I'm just gonna
great. I can have
all the feedback from you guys. I can. So I was going to put together for that, Mary, just like a big long summary in case you forgot what week 3 was, where you can say, oh yeah, this week was really helpful and this one didn't help me so much. Because if one week is like not helpful to anyone, then I'll just cut that out and talk more about something else. So yeah, that would be great. I'll just format it in a way that would also
be kind of like, I did LLC, I did open bank account, I did
yeah
that kind of nitty-gritty stuff. Yeah, that would be terrific. Yeah. And maybe if you got really into it, but you don't have to, you could do like the essentials and then kind of like subject to your own studio and then subject to your region or something.
Yeah
for easy to stick it down in a list.
That's a good idea. Part of that was I actually, when I was planning the course, I just didn't know where everyone would be in terms of their business building. So I wanted to leave some flexibility when I first put it together. And so I did have 1 week that was kind of a flex week where I could just fill in. And so I just didn't know that specifically when we started out, like where that would all end up. But now I know what we did. So did you have any questions, Mary, that we can, anything about the taxes or?
No, I don't think so. No. Except my accountant is fantastic. He's a wonderful, wonderful man called Erwin. He's so patient. I always email him like 18 questions in one go. I save them up for one, like. Got patience of a saint. Thankfully, yeah. So I'm okay. But, thank you.
All right. I thought I had one more question for you guys, but I don't know. I'm hoping since Anna's not here that she has a baby.
Oh, right.
I don't know. She was due on Monday. I emailed her yesterday, just say, hey, I'm thinking about you. And I don't know.
Working.
Yeah. All right. Well, if there are no more questions, we will wrap it up for today. I'll see you all next week.
Sounds good. Thank you so much, Andrea.
All right. See you later.
Thank you, everybody else later.
As well, Andrea. Thank you. See you next week.
Bye, guys.
Bye.